From the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
To the Hammer Down Racing Report, show number 72 for Thursday, February 28th. And
last day of February.
I was just learning of all other Ron's racing shows that he's been...
It's been a fun ride, really. It has, Scott. You know, that first one was absolutely terrifying.
Where you just kind of got... Go ahead, tell us.
Well, and I did. Don King at that was the sports director at Seaway, and every Saturday, well, not every Saturday, but frequently he'd call me at the race shop and say, "Ron, what's going on in the racing world?" And we'd talk on the radio for a few minutes. And he was also a customer of ours at our automotive shop. And, you know, "Ron, I'm going to have you, you're going to have your own show one of these days." And I said, yeah, that's just not going to happen. And one day he called me up. He said, "Hey, I've got a slot for you Saturday mornings. Come on down."
Did he offer you big bucks for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You work in radio, you tell me. But anyway, he said, "Bring a guest." So I brought Benny Rapp. Benny Rapp had been racing, had won track championships in like 4 or 5 decades. Just an absolute wealth of knowledge. Good friend, too. And we sat down in the studio, the three of us, and Don says, "Hi, folks, I'd like you to meet Ron Miller. He's the host of Motorsports Talk, and take it away, Ron." And he said, he had told me ahead of time that he was going to be there and help me with the show, and he did.
He helped you start it.
He helped me start it and got up and walked away. And so, well, here we are. Benny, you've been involved in racing for nearly 50 years now. I'll bet you've seen a lot of changes. Yep. And you know how long dead air lasts, Scott.
I do.
Oh,
how long was the show?
The first one was a half hour initially, and we stretched it to an hour a little ways down the road.
Is there a tape of this original?
I don't think so. Don King, of course, passed away several years ago, but what a great friend. And as it turned out, that initial show went really well. It just took a while to break the ice with Benny, and boy, you have no idea how long 5 seconds of dead air is until you're sitting there staring at the microphone,
it gets amplified.
Trying to think of what to say.
What year was that? Do you know?
I would think mid-'80s.
Oh, so I wasn't even around here.
85, 86.
Interesting. All right. History Lessons with Ron Miller, co-host of
Good Time
Hammer Down Racing Report. I'm your host, Scott Hammer. Tonight on the show, coming at you from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, we have veteran race car driver Hillard Miller, because you've raced a lot of different things. And just a few, yeah. And we'll be talking to him about his career. He's got some good stories.
He does? Yeah. I wonder if he's got a sprint car ride lined up for Oakshade this summer.
No.
No?
Any interest?
I would try it.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, non-wing sprint. Yeah, wing sprint.
Get up on that microphone there.
Yeah.
Not close enough?
There you go.
That better?
You can bring it back to you, or you can move up to it.
All right. That work?
That's better.
You hear me?
We can hear you.
You move back.
Here, we'll turn them up as loud as it goes.
There you go.
We got the results back from the Toledo City paper, Best of Toledo podcast votes, and unfortunately, our show was not...
We didn't win. But we had been nominated. And
we made the feature.
And people recognized us as being the best podcast in the city.
We made the feature. We made the show. That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Well, and we're going to do some adjustments, change some pressures or something, maybe get some different tires for next year.
Yeah, new rubber always helps.
It's like you always say, how fast do you want to go?
Speed costs money. How fast do you want to go?
That's it, yes. But thank you, everybody, for voting for us. It's not just our show. It's everybody's show. Everybody listens, so... If we win, everybody wins.
And we're getting more and more likes on Facebook, and every week more and more people are watching. And I've been watching the numbers, Scott. We're doing well. So I would think by voting time next year, we're going to be golden.
Yeah. We'll see. And congratulations to Eric, who won that He used to do a show here, actually, so he had a pretty good fan base going into his podcast. And his podcast does some good work.
He's okay?
He's okay, yeah. So
what about the two chicks?
I don't know. Second place was the Toledo Matters, and I'm not sure which one that was. That may have been the chick one. I don't know if that's politically correct to say that, but the female hosted podcast.
The two young ladies.
Sure.
Or maybe they were old ladies. We don't know.
That sounds like a good podcast.
Only wrong.
Two old ladies. Tune in tonight. Make sure to visit hammerdownracingreport.com. Links to all the various ways to consume our wonderful program, including iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, iTunes, YouTube.
Yep.
And, of course, Facebook. I think that's all of them. And, oh, yeah, we got to give you a little plug there, don't we? Ron Miller Race Cars. How's it going at Ron Miller Race Cars?
It's been busy.
Okay.
It's been busy.
Okay. Well, we're going to try and make it more busy.
The winter has been cold. I think some of the racers are, and maybe you know, Hillard, seems like some of the racers are a little slow in getting their stuff around this year. And,
are you referring to me?
Maybe.
Okay. I'm still waiting for my engine.
It's close.
Okay.
I have inside information
All
on
right.
that.
That's good.
I know the guy that repaired the oil pan for it today.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm sure he did a wonderful job, too.
Yeah, and I know he did.
Okay.
The bill's in the mail.
All right. So, what were you asking him?
If I knew why things were slow, I thought it was
why people drag their...
It just seems like people are dragging their feet this year.
He's already raced, so he's not dragging his feet.
Yeah, but now he's got a car to repair.
Yep, it's all one piece, ready to go. Actually running better now than it did when it was in Florida.
Oh, I'll bet.
It didn't want to run down there, so...
Give Ron Miller Race Cars a call, 734-856-7223. He's got parts, he's got safety equipment, service.
Advice.
Yeah. Any specials going on? Any good deals?
Just me.
Anything?
I'm special.
Okay. Well, you certainly are.
Here we go.
We'll just leave that alone.
Thank you.
Coming up a little bit later on the show, actually pretty soon, we're going to be talking to the Rebel Dennis Whisman involved in that crash down in Florida. Figure 8 crash. You see the video on that?
I did, Scott. That was horrendous.
Yeah.
Did you see some of the after?
I saw pictures of him in the hospital there.
Yeah. Did you see some of the pics of the race car?
Oh, yeah.
Car is really messed up. And it's going to be interesting to talk to Dennis, see if it's repairable.
Well, at least he's fine. So, he's
fine
as fine as he could be.
As fine as a figure 8 racer can be.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the racing action that was supposed to happen last weekend. The World of Outlaws sprint cars were supposed to race at Cotton Bowl Speedway and Lone Star Speedway in Texas. Both races were rained out. Series was at the dirt track at Las Vegas last night, which is where the NASCAR guys are this weekend,
right.
I believe. And last night's winner was the Steel City Outlaw, Tim Schaefer. He led all 30 laps. I guess it was his first time he's won out there in 14 years or something. Wow. I think I read that. Some of the NASCAR guys are racing with him. Rico Abreu finished 4th. Kyle Larson was 6th. Christopher Bell was 10th. And Casey Kane finished 14th.
No Tony Stewart?
I don't think he was out there. Yeah. If he was, he didn't make the feature.
Didn't make the show.
He's been running... actually, the USCS Outlaw Thunder Tour, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
But before we get to that, the World of Outlaws are in action tonight at Las Vegas as well. Now to the Tony Stewart thing.
Okay.
He was back in victory lane in the number 14 car, but this was last weekend.
Right.
Friday night, Southern Raceway in Florida, Mark Smith held off Stewart to win on Saturday night. So he finished second. Stewart did.
All-Star Circuit of Champions?
USCS.
Okay.
I remember. I should have wrote down what that was because I looked it up. It was like...
United something.
Yeah, but it's not what you'd think it was.
United Sprint Car.
That's what you'd think it was, but I don't think it was. No? It's like United Series. I don't know. Anyways, it's the USCS Outlaw Thunder Tour. I could Google it, but I'm in the middle of doing a show. So.
Somebody'll enlighten us.
There you go. According to a Facebook post posted a couple days ago on the Waynesfield Facebook page, there's going to be a press release coming soon about the dates and classes of the special events in 2019. You know, Shane Helms
right
taking that on and Maybe we should get him on the show.
I thought it was just 3 shows.
It was supposed to be, but this says there's going to be.
Maybe they expanded on it?
No, I thought I read somewhere where it was 4. But anyways, he's going to have a press release with the dates and the classes of those special events. So far, the only thing we know of is the opener is going to be on April 7th, and the Fast series, Fast on Dirt,
right,
is sprint cars are going to be there on the 7th, and they're also going to be there on the 3rd of July. Also, I believe the NRA Sprint Invaders are going to be there on the 7th.
Now, the Helms
April.
family are big sprint car supporters.
But they also said that the Post also said that if these events go well, the schedule could grow in the future, so they may add more.
The future being 2019,
that's all it said. I don't know. That's the
road.
question. I don't know if that's like next year or what. If Shane's going to take that's why maybe we should get Shane on the show and
maybe
get some information there. Sponsor commitment fell through, causing Randy Weaver to shut down SWR Racing Super Late Model program, leaving Tanner English without a ride. English led the majority of the Lucas Oil Late Model finale at East Bay, before slipping back late in the race to finish 4th. A few weeks ago.
I'm just afraid that that's only the beginning of some of the relatively well-funded teams.
Yeah, there's some of that stuff happening on the opposite spectrum. Where somebody's getting a ride. 410 sprint racer Chris Andrews has landed a deal with Ken and Dwayne Mackey to wheel their wing sprint this year. They're going to be running the Attica Fremont Championship Series as well as some All-Stars races in the area. So, cool deal there. Did you watch the Cup race at Atlanta this past week?
Boy,
did you
talk about something that didn't live up to all the pre-race hype?
Yeah.
All the talking heads were saying that it was going to be a spectacular race. The new aero package was going to lead to pack racing, and never developed.
I kind of was watching it off and on my phone because I was at my son's track meet.
Oh, I thought you were falling asleep.
No.
You wouldn't have missed much.
I had bad connection, so I kept losing it. So I didn't get to see a lot of it, and some of it I could only hear because the picture would freeze. But actually, the part where the picture did freeze was when Chris Buescher's fuel man, Anthony Passett, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He was injured.
Tony got hurt.
He got injured during the fuel man for Chris Buescher during Sunday's race when Ryan Preece collided with B.J. McLeod, sending McLeod spinning into Buescher's pit where Tony was standing. Pinned him against the wall, and he suffered a broken fibula, torn ACL, and additional injuries to his right leg. He wanted to walk it off and continue pitting.
Okay.
But,
true racer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be all right in the morning.
He was convinced otherwise, yeah. There's no indication how long he will be sidelined. Brad Keselowski, of course, won the race despite fighting stomach bug all weekend, I guess. Sounds gnarly. I don't want to know more about that.
Yeah, he and his wife, I guess, were pretty ill.
Both of them were?
Yeah. And they gave Brad a couple of bags of IV fluid and got him pretty well hydrated, and they had a driver standing by, a sub-driver.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, never needed him.
Yeah. Well, something about getting in the race car kind of.
That helps everything.
Yeah. Was the first.
You never feel bad in a race car, do you, Hillard?
Nope.
First true showing of the new downforce package, and I guess NASCAR was pleased with the way things went with that.
Yeah, the fans not so much, but I'm glad.
There were a lot of empty seats there.
I'm glad NASCAR was happy.
Yeah. Did you hear about what happened to Chad Finley Racing, the truck team, when they were leaving?
I didn't.
Well,
no. Chad has raced his late model at Oakshade. We've seen him locally. He's a Michigan racer.
Well, unfortunately, his Las Vegas truck was damaged, as well as his hauler. When the hauler was leaving Atlanta, they went through the wrong tunnel, which apparently was not tall enough.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oops.
Bad stuff happened there. So he's going to be sitting out this weekend's race in Las Vegas to make repairs.
He really is a nice guy.
So, Kyle Busch actually became the winningest NASCAR truck driver after getting the win in Atlanta in the truck race. Our Natalie Decker spun a couple times. She ended up finishing 24th. And Christopher Bell was the Xfinity Series winner at Atlanta.
Yep, Busch knocked Ron Hornaday out of the lead on most ever feature wins.
Whatever happened to Ron? What's he doing these days?
I don't know. Retired.
Okay. The second and third place ARCA finishers at Daytona from a couple weeks ago, they've been penalized for rear spoiler height violations. DGR Crosley Racing driver Todd Gilliland and Rhett Jones Racing with the driver Grant Quinlan were both fined $6,000, penalized 100 owner and driver points.
Now, how did they find that?
I would think a tape measure.
Okay,
I mean,
but
that's my guess.
you would think that they would make those.
You would think that they would have
right
found.
at,
Well,
right
yeah,
at the racetrack. I don't think that. I don't
we
think
can ask
ARCA's,
Charlie about that.
I don't think ARCA's like NASCAR, where they. Well, NASCAR doesn't even take them back to the tech center anymore.
No, but NASCAR bought ARCA, so
There you go.
things are different.
I think ARCA is still in charge
For this year.
for 2019.
Yeah,
correct.
this year. Yeah.
Yep.
It's called the Rebel.
Really?
Yeah. Hopefully that wasn't me. Now, Mark Tunney was the winner down there at Southern Figure 8 World Finals. Showtime to be. Hey, is this the Rebel Dennis Whisman?
That's me.
Hey, I dialed the right number. Scott Hammer here, Ron Miller, and Hillard Miller all here in the studio.
Dennis, we missed you at Bowling Tuesday. Where were you?
Yeah, I was down in Sunshine State, enjoying some nice weather, doing a little bit of racing.
Yeah? How'd that go?
How'd that go?
I think everybody in America knows how that goes. I instantly went to if you go to YouTube, a push figure 8 crash. I think I might have jumped to the top of the list.
I think you probably did.
Down there.
Well, first off, I guess, again, for those of you just tuning in, you were racing down the Southern Figure 8 World Finals going on down at Showtime Speedway in Florida, right?
Yep. We went down there. We actually got there last Wednesday. We practiced on Wednesday and a little Friday, and we had a heat race Friday, and then we had 2 features Saturday and Sunday.
And you had a pretty bad accident. Was that Sunday afternoon when that happened?
Yeah, that was the Sunday, the 75 lapper. Yep, it happens, buddy. I got my lights knocked out. I'll tell you that. I was out for a little while, but once I came to, I was pretty good. I mean, other than being sore, you're gonna have that. I'm kind of old. I'm not Ron Miller old, but
Hey, be careful now.
That's old. That's Garrett. Yeah.
Careful, Hillard.
So how are you doing right now? I mean, I guess that's the main question. Everybody was worried.
Literally, we just pulled in my driveway at home here about a half hour ago. I mean, I'm fine. A little sore. You're gonna have that. My neck's a little sore, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I actually feel a lot better than I thought I would. Let's put it that way.
All right. Next question: how's the car, or how bad is the car?
You know what? We don't know absolutely for sure because we just put it in the box and locked it up and left it there. I don't think anybody's looked at it yet, but I'm thinking it's pretty good. We're hoping it's just a front clip, but I don't know. It was a pretty hard shot. We'll have to wait and see.
So who was the other guy that you hit there at the intersection? And kind of walk us through exactly what happened.
I don't exactly know his name. It's Chris something. It's one of the guys from down there in Florida. And it's just one of them deals, man. It's just, when we do figure 8 racing, it depends a lot about timing with the people you race with. And when you go to a big race like this, as guys you never race with, you don't know what to expect out of them. And the intersection before we crashed, I kind of had to check up a little bit to go behind him. So I naturally figured next time I'll go all the way over to the side and go in front of him. Well, he didn't see it that way. And we hit pretty much full board, hard as you can go. And looking at the replay and watching it, if you watch it in slow motion, I'm thinking his car was probably about 1,000 pounds heavier than mine because his didn't move much and mine did a big spin. So he was all right. He got out of the car. He was doing a lot better than me. I got my bell rung.
So how does that particular accident rank as far as some of the worst crashes you've ever had?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was definitely the hardest. Like I said, them outlaw cars, I would guess them, especially down there at Showtime Speedway. When we crashed, I'm thinking we had to be close to 80 miles an hour, straight up head-on shot. Because
No.
my foot was on the floor, and I'm pretty sure his was too. So
For our listeners, that race is an open motor race, right? So you guys had plenty of horsepower and.
oh yeah. Those outlaw cars, there's no motor rule on them at all, and they can run dry sump, wet sump, whatever. They're basically. I know a lot of your listeners will relate to the fact that these are basically dirt late models, but they're built specifically for figure eight racing, and I mean they're all high dollar stuff. It's just real go fast stuff. And like I said, we were definitely carried the mail when we collided.
How had you been going that weekend?
You know what? I should have took it right out the back, because we just had bad luck the whole week. We had issues Friday. Had problems Friday night. My car ran great. No problems out of the motor. And as soon as they dropped the green in the heat race Friday, it started breaking up, running bad. And Saturday, we got it all together. We did a bunch of work to it Saturday and got it together. I actually qualified 4th out of 30 cars. And we were happy with that, but we were leaking oil. And it was an impound race, so they wouldn't let us look at it. So I knew at the start of the race I was only going to be able to run a little while. And I think I ran about 10 laps and then pulled off because I didn't want to tear it up. I wanted to save it for Sunday. Well, that didn't work out well either. We got it all going Sunday and started up front and led a lap or two. And then we started having issues again with the same issues we were having before. And I fell back, and then we had the big crash. And I mean, it's terrible now. I mean, we just got the car all fixed back up and ready to go, and I feel bad for my brother, my crew, my sponsors, but, everybody came out okay. The only one really hurt is that race car in that box over there, and we got to take a look at it here in the next few days and see how bad it is.
Now, was Dennis Jr. racing there?
Yeah, that shows you we just had a bad weekend for the Michigan guys, because in the Saturday race, Eugene Warden, one of the other guys that went down there, he kind of side-slapped another car, and he actually broke a couple fingers, and I think he broke his hand, too, because he's pretty bad off. And then Sunday, he was there, and we got his car ready, but he said, I'm not going to be able to go, so my son was there, and of course he brought all his gear, so
imagine that.
For him. He went out and started the car and started the race, and he had developed an oil leak, and he ended up pulling off, too, but he got his feet wet in the outlaw figure eight racing, so it was good there. I think he was the only one that came away not hurt.
So Junior was impressed?
Yeah, oh yeah. He said that was something else. He said he actually told me, he said, you guys are crazy. Yeah, okay.
Well, you've known that for years,
a figure
Dennis.
eight guy telling another figure eight guy he's crazy?
Yeah, you believe that?
So when's the next time you're planning on racing? Are you Flat Rock or you got anything planned before that?
We're not going to have nothing before that. I think Flat Rock starts first week or two of May, and that's going to be probably our next race. This outlaw thing, we're going to have to wait and see where that goes. I don't know. Like I said, my brother Joey puts a lot of money in that car, and it's probably going to take a lot to fix it again. So I don't know exactly when we're going to get to run that one again.
Now, the Outlaw is not what you run at Flat Rock.
No, the Outlaw, basically it's the same frame that we run at Flat Rock. That's about it. That Outlaw's got a wide 5 rear end. The wide 5 bolt pattern all the way around with a quick change rear end, Burt Trans, 800 horsepower V8, and the big slicks. And then at Flat Rock, it's pretty much the same chassis, but we run a 9-inch Ford rear end, 5x5 hubs all the way around with the V6, stock exhaust, and a Muncie 4-speed. So, an 8-inch treaded tire. So there's a little difference there. Other than just the chassis, everything's different.
All right. Well, we appreciate you giving us a few minutes there, and definitely glad that you're okay after that hard hit.
Yeah. Really? I just want to let everybody listening know that I'm fine, man. I just drove all the way from Florida, so I'm good.
Right.
Glad to hear that, Dennis.
Really.
Luckily, there's no intersections on the freeway, so I did okay.
You were probably timing it, though, going over bridges or something, right?
Yeah. I was just looking up over the corner of that overpass saying, woo, I'm glad them guys are up there and I'm down.
All right. We'll see you at Flat Rock this summer then.
Hey, I'll see you at Bowling Tuesday.
Thanks, Dennis.
Bye, Dennis.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
So Rebel Dennis Whisman, Sr., again, involved in that vicious crash down at Showtime Speedway in Florida.
And like Dennis said, if you didn't see the video, just do a YouTube.
It's on our. I got it on the Hammer Down Racing Report Facebook page.
Very good.
Yeah, it was pretty vicious.
It was.
You should take your Outlaw late model.
Nope.
No, not going to do the figure eight thing.
It only goes left.
Did I mention Mark Tunney? Yeah, he won his third Southern Figure 8 World Finals at Showtime Speedway. Moving on, in the studio with us, veteran race car driver, Hillard Miller. You've driven, how many different kinds of race cars have you driven?
I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe.
That's it?
A couple, yeah.
And I was telling you before we went on the air here that I remember going. You're like one of the first race car drivers I remember watching at Bryan Motor Speedway. My dad used to take me to the track, and we would always sit behind your parents wearing the matching Hillard Miller
Blazers
jackets. Yeah, I think they changed over the years, but
yeah, maybe
changed with the design of the car. But I remember
not too much.
seeing you in
not too much.
Old street stock or whatever it was at
Chrysler.
Bryan.
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
Yeah. That's what I started on. And that's what I'm phasing out with. That's what I got back in the car now is a Chrysler motor.
No, I thought you were going back to a street stock.
No,
what you're saying.
Hey, whatever. Somebody offers a ride. I'm not, hey.
So my first question to you is, and everybody I'm sure is wondering, are you related to Ron?
No.
Nope. Not that we know.
Yeah, that we know.
Okay.
I have never checked my tree.
Oh.
Have you ever checked your
No, but I think we talked at one time. All of my family came from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area, and I think you said that you had family that originally came through Pennsylvania. So
No, mine actually come through Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan, Indiana, most of them that I know of.
Yeah.
That.
Okay. So, no.
probably
The
not.
answer no. So how many years have you been racing?
This year make 42.
And how many times have you retired?
41.
3 times? Okay. I know of at least one, because you announced it at Oakshade back in 2008.
Yeah.
Same time that Patterson announced his retirement.
Was it?
I believe so. That was at least one of your retirements.
He was the smart one. He stayed out, I think.
So how did you get into racing? What was your first race?
I used to help a guy, Dan Brown, from over at Bryan, raced at Bryan, and back in those days they ran...
Is that the same Dan Brown that used to run a Sportsman?
Yep.
At Oakshade, too?
He actually ran a late model, too, for a while.
I had late model. Ran Sportsman. When I met him, he was running late models back with Red Foster and Stan Perry and all them guys.
Stan Perry, I remember him.
That's back, Little Joe Bennett.
Oh, yeah.
That's when them guys would, the same car, go from asphalt to dirt and all that stuff. And I started wrenching on it, and then we started building street stocks. And Dan's late model number was 51. And then by the time we was done, I think we was in the 60s in car numbers. So,
What, just you built that many cars? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, starting from 51, we built, a lot of us had cars back then. And mine was 53, and I've always stuck with it. Everybody always wondered where I come up with the number, and that's how, So,
You've had pretty much the same color scheme, too.
yeah, always black and yellow. Yeah, I had couple times I had a white and yellow one time, white and black, but I think that body lasted maybe 1 week.
You'll have that.
Something like that. Yeah. But no, it's been fun.
So did your parents used to come to every race?
Pretty much, unless I traveled real far away. I had my mom, we went down to Cleveland, Tennessee one year racing, and I look up and there's my mom and dad in the stands, and
You didn't know they were coming?
no, I had no idea. But
Did they know you were going there?
they knew I was going. Yeah, they knew I was.
Just coincidence.
Yeah.
It sounded like a good race to go to.
Yeah. They colder and shit, and they froze their ass off, slept in the van. I mean, they'd follow me anywhere, really, pretty much. So,
That's cool. Who are some of your your idols, racing idols? Anybody you look up to
I always
or used to?
Yeah, I was always Jim Fleming, Little Joe Bennett,
Yep.
Bill Hahn. You know, I bought my first late model off of Andy and Dee Ginsman. Them guys are always pretty cool. Roy Sheets, you know.
A lot of the old Fremont gang.
Yeah, really. You know, Dale DeLong.
Yep.
I think Rick and I actually started running late models about the same time period.
When did you start running a late model?
90.
Okay.
1990.
Now, between the late model and you started off in the street stock, was there modified in there or any other classes that you ran?
I ran street stocks for about 9 years, and until they tried to tell me my cars were illegal. So then I thought, well, hell, I'll go. Brian was starting up a new modified class, you know, so I got the IMCA book out, and I built a IMCA modified in my garage floor. And then we got to Brian, and everybody was taking their fenders off the late models and bringing in sprints with bodies on it and stuff like that. And I'd done that 2 years, I think. And then we sold it. Sold the last modified I had actually to Rusty Slink's dad. And then I thought, well, there'll be no rules. I might as well go with late models, you know, because pretty much wide open, you know. So been with it ever since.
Which kind of car do you enjoy racing the most?
I tell you what, that deal I had with Lincoln Calvin there a year or so ago, those cars are fun to drive.
Modified.
Yes, yeah. The big, you know, the rules on them are getting outrageous, just like the late models. But you still got a big motor and little tiny tires. You got to have a little bit of throttle control, you know. So it makes them fun, you know. And they're getting where they drive just like or better than the late models.
Well, you watch them on the track; they've got the same attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Right front pin, left rear up.
Yep.
Have you run a modified before?
Sorta.
In like the last 30 years?
Yeah. Gene Steele. Gene
It
Steele.
was a simple yes or no question.
Yeah. No, Gene Steele had a modified. Gene has that vintage car, RU-21, and he had a modified. He says, we're going to Eldora. He said, I want you to drive it. And went out for hot laps. And Bill Hahn was there in Mike Stockmaster's car. And he had issues too, but I touched the throttle and the car jumped up on the left rear but didn't go anywhere. And I made like 2 laps and cars were driving by me on the left, driving by me on the right, and pulled back into pits. And as I'm driving back, I said, Gene, jack up the left rear on this thing. I think you're going to find that you forgot to put an axle back in it. Oh, shit, we took it to a car show, and I took an axle out so we could push it around. And so he ran around the pits and finally found it. Got an axle. And yeah.
All right, then.
And Bill Hahn and I wound up racing side by side the whole feature.
Now, you've had a lot, 42 years, I'm sure you've had quite a few stories to tell. I know one thing that happened to you that was a little concerning back in 2008 in American Late Model Series race at Eldora. You want to tell that story?
Well, the first part you got to understand. See, that was my first wedding anniversary, and we were down racing, and that was her present to me that day.
Really?
You know, yeah. Wow. To get me a helicopter ride, you know, and a visit to the local hospital. So, you know,
Well,
she treats me with things.
That was very charitable of her.
Oh yeah, she likes doing stuff like that to me. You know, but no, I still to this day don't know what hit my helmet, whether it was a mud clod, a rock.
A piece of debris came up and hit you in the face.
Right.
Something.
Actually busted the whole shield out, busted my nose. Actually, my right eye is still messed up. It will never be the same. And actually cracked the helmet. And then Simpson did end up sending us a new helmet.
Wow.
But the way they test their shields makes no sense to me at all. They test their shields with a .22 gun.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Does it pass?
I don't know how, but that's what they was telling me. They test them with a gun, instead of a piece of debris, And there's other people that's been hurt too. Steve Francis, he took it there.
Now his was a chunk of lead, wasn't it?
I don't know, a chunk of lead for sure, or whether it was a dirt clod
something
or something.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. But when something hits you when you're going that fast, it feels like a chunk of lead.
Oh, I've been hit with a little stone and dropped my hand off the steering wheel.
Now, what happened when that hit you? I mean, did that knock you out, or were you still conscious?
I was still conscious, but
so you could get the car stopped.
Yeah, I brought it to a slide right almost underneath the flagman, just about halfway between the gate and the flagman there.
Did the track have any idea? I wonder if the track knew that something had happened at that point, other than you stopped.
Right, not really, because actually I think the first person to me was one of my crew guys, and I'm not saying nothing against any of the ambulance. They didn't really know what to do about it. I think the ambulance people.
You had some pretty severe leakage.
Yeah. The radiator sprung a leak. Yeah. And it was pretty rusty stuff.
Jeez. That paints a nice mental picture.
Yeah, it does.
So how long did it take you to get healed up from that?
I don't know whether I'm healed yet or not. I'm still married to her, so,
When was the next time you raced? How's that after that?
The following weekend.
Yeah. Oh, so you were back in the car?
Yeah, I actually went to work Monday with my face all swollen and stuff, but yeah.
And this wasn't the first time that you've raced while injured, correct?
No. I broke my ankle at my son's 9th birthday party, and the following weekend, or that same weekend, I was running the modified at Bryan, flipped it several times.
More than once.
Yeah. It was. You remember the billboard on the back?
Yeah.
Charlie got a picture of it being even with that top of that billboard.
That was Charlie Varicki.
Yeah, Charlie Varicki. That guy could take some pictures.
Yes, he could.
And when it landed, it was on its roof. I couldn't get out, so they flipped it over, and then my wife at that point, Barb and I were married as my first wife. They handed my crutches through the fence so I could walk away, and but yeah,
that was the same night that Joe Nicoloy had
his accident,
the fire crash.
Yeah,
or it wasn't really a crash, but the fire.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a bad night.
Yeah, but the worst one for me, a lot of people knew it. I got crushed by a tractor in '99, and that kind of set me back a little bit.
Like, was this a racing incident or
no,
a tractor like in a?
It was a farm tractor.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
another rollover.
Yeah, another rollover. Yeah.
Was it your fault?
I suppose I was driving the tractor.
Okay. I was sure somebody was chasing you with it or something.
Scott, I know you're not exactly a farm boy, but tractors don't roll over on their own.
I didn't know if somebody else was driving. Okay.
My mom and dad had a farm up in Michigan, and it's real hilly. And back in the back 30 acres or whatever, there was, Dad had built a racetrack. Nice. And everyone would come up there in the fall and just play.
Was that the Evergreen?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, it was Evergreen after what's his name bought it.
Yeah,
but I was up. My mom had just died. We just buried her, but we'd already planned on this. That was her big thing, and I was mowing the property, and the tractor flipped, pinned me underneath it, and that's I can compete with Ron on metal pieces. Yeah. So
was there anybody around?
Titanium's good stuff.
2 hours later, my brother found me.
Oh, jeez.
So, but I was lucky.
And how soon were you back in a race car after that?
Was it March, or was it before March? We went to Cleveland, the Shamrock race in Cleveland, Tennessee. So it happened in September and March. I was back in a car.
So you had the off season to heal up a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your most memorable win? Any of them stand out?
Yeah, the biggest one, I guess, that got me the most notification, I guess, was the night, the ALMS race at Oakshade when I beat Chris Patterson,
Right.
and Justin Paxton and all that, and they tried to take it away from me. They really did, but we crossed the checker flag, and then they threw the caution, and we had to restart with one to go, and I still held them off. So that's probably one of my. But
They just wanted to make sure you earned it.
yeah.
That's all.
No,
Nothing tense about that last lap,
no,
was there?
not at all. No, no.
How much racetrack can I cover in one lap?
It's but it's like we was talking earlier. I've ran with people that and beat people that people think I shouldn't have. I outran Matt Miller at Fremont. No, not Fremont. It was Attica. I beat him and Case Bolt at Attica. I beat Matt Miller at Millstream years ago. The last race they had in '99.
Right.
Yeah. And
Hey, I was there.
yeah. Yeah.
I think I was probably announcing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Brenda Marling says, you can't keep Hillard down. He's tougher than nails.
thank you, Brenda. And,
So do you have a favorite track? How many different tracks have you raced at over the years?
I don't really know.
All of them?
I wish. I wish I was like Kenny Schrader and had every one. But my favorite track to me still is Bryan. I wish they could have kept that place going.
What'd you like about it?
Smooth.
Yeah, and the size. There was plenty of room. I can remember us guys running street stocks back in the day, and it always had a dash. Everybody qualified, and you always had a dash. And there was one weekend, I think, that all 6 of us at one time took a lead on one lap or another, and nobody ever touched. I mean, you run the street stocks back then and hardly ever have to do any body work. Mm-hmm. It ain't like it is today.
Do you have a least favorite track?
I've never met one I didn't like.
Okay. Have you ever done any asphalt racing?
No. No desire.
No desire?
No.
Okay.
Asphalt's for getting there.
Which you used to get down to Florida to, you've already raced this year,
Yep.
which you're ahead of some people.
Yeah.
Ron's raced a little closer to home, but do you ever do the hangover race? No, that's asphalt, yeah.
Yeah.
You go down to where it's warm.
Yeah, it's too cold to go out and play around on New Year's Day.
So tell us about running down in Florida.
Well, the reason why I went, Barb had never got to go with me racing. We'd been down there watching, and to go and race is completely different. Especially for a solid week at one place. And we started off. I was going to race at North Florida Speedway, which is Lake City, Florida, and I'd planned on running that and then going to Volusia, and we got to Lake City, got to practice on Thursday, and the car wasn't running right, so I made some changes, and the practice was over with. And our show was supposed to have been Sunday, which got rained out, so we ended up going to Volusia and staying. Excuse me. And went to fired up Monday, couldn't get it to start. And so I said, heck with it, didn't do nothing, kind of mess with it a little bit. Tuesday it rained. Wednesday, we finally got it running good enough that I could run the heat in the Consi, but like I was telling you, I went down there mainly because 21 years ago, I went down there and made a show. And I just wanted her to feel the difference of being someplace like that. And,
How different is that than racing, somewhere around here?
Oh, it's just nice. You get done. You can just go in your toter or camper or whatever and hang out, and then you get up next morning and you're right there. You don't have to travel 100 miles or whatever to go racing. You're sitting there for 6 days racing at the same spot.
And you certainly get to know a lot of people.
Yeah, you do. You learn a lot. That's the thing. I learned more down there in a half hour in the parking lot than you learn around here at the racetrack,
So we should be worried this summer?
I doubt it.
Everybody wants you to move over just a little bit because they can't see you in the camera. Just kind of scoot
That
your
way?
chair. Yeah, to your...
Well, the thing's pointing this way.
Well, yeah, but You're not loud enough on the
How's that?
microphone for the camera to take, so it's going off the big one back here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you're kind of hidden behind
All
the
right.
screens.
All right. That better?
That's better.
All right.
I don't know. Ask the Hillard Miller fan club. How's he doing?
Is it better now? Lori Davey said that she can't see you.
Lori.
Paxton, Billy Joe Paxton, have him move to the right so we can see him.
Again?
Yeah. Oh, look, there's another Miller just joined. Brett Miller's. Are you related to Brett?
No.
Okay.
No.
Are there any other Miller racers you're related to?
Just my son.
Just your son.
Yeah.
And what's he race?
Go-karts.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
40.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had him in the late model once or twice. He got to run Eldora.
What's he think about that?
He had fun.
No plans of throwing you out of the car?
No, he would probably like to, but
If he retire maybe for a fourth time, would that open the seat up for him?
I ain't got no money enough to afford it for me, let alone The thing is, Ron knows what kind of equipment I have. It's not high dollar, and to put your kid in stuff like that, you're kind of wasting their talent, because he's better than I ever thought of being, but he don't have the drive to do it that I have, and I don't have the money to get him the good stuff to do it right.
That was compared to maybe 20 years ago. I mean, how much more expensive is it to run a late model today than it was, back at Millstream in 1999? I'd
say at least 3 times and not 4
it's
times.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's like 98, I made the show against Dale McDowell and Eddie Carrier Jr. and all them guys, and nowadays you can't even come close to them guys, It used to be more equal, but the shock business and these motor deals,
exactly,
where they're 900 to 1,000 horse, the normal guy can't build that kind of stuff, Do
you have any ideas on ways to kind of bring that cost back down?
The biggest thing would be take the shocks away from everybody. They would go to a standard shock like the old pros we used to run back in the day.
Monroe-matics.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. But okay.
When we first started running late models, what the pro shock cost us? $75?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
$59.95.
Something like that. Yeah. And now you can't touch a set of shocks for under $4,000 or $5,000. Then half the time you got to send them off to somebody else and have them.
Right, because they're not quite good enough from the factory.
Right. So.
Wow. Have you run Lima Land?
In the mod.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wish they'd run us down there again with
Yes.
the late models. It's a fun place.
Yep, exactly. I love that place.
That's a track I haven't been to. I've only seen.
Really?
Yeah. That one in Waynesfield. Those two. I need to get down there. Was there any track that you've run on a semi-regular basis that you haven't won at that you really would have liked to win or would still like to win at? Or have you won everywhere?
No, I ain't won it. I'd love to win a big one at Eldora. I've come close before. I've won back when we used to get 200 cars for the World 100. I have won non-qualifiers features against guys like Randy Boggs and Brandon Kinzer and all them guys, But as far as actually winning a full-out feature at Eldora, I've won heat races and stuff down there, but I'd love to win an ALMS show or something like that at Eldora,
Are you going down there for the opener?
We might. We'll see.
End of April?
We'll see.
Was that 5,000 to win, 4,000 to win? Something
Usually
like that?
5.
Yeah.
Cars in the trailer, might as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said the car came back fine, right?
Yep.
From Florida, so
Yep.
you don't have
Yep.
much to do to get it ready.
Nope.
All right.
No, wash it.
Didn't have to beat any body panels out?
No. I think I got one little scratch down the side of it. That was my own fault. So
have you had any feuds with any other racers over your career?
Never.
Any disagreements?
You
Not
don't-
seeing eye to eye?
I remember this one race one time I think we was over at Millstream. It was a star show. It was a big show for us little guys. And there was this guy that I know pretty good that was behind me. And coming down, I think it was a Concy, I remember right. Coming down the last lap, and I was in the transfer spot. Well, this guy behind me wanted it worse than I did. I can't remember that number. You remember that number, Ron?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't remember ever.
Was it a 35?
It was a 35.
I don't remember ever running a Stars show, so I don't know.
And I think it was the following week I presented that guy with a gift. Do you remember that gift?
Not at all.
You don't?
I don't believe
No,
you.
You don't remember that rear view mirror I gave you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Still in my car.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't know. I'm sure there's guys that's been pissed at me, and I've been pissed at them. I pissed Moffat off one night down at Fremont and Ruhlman, all of them, But anymore, they say rubbing is racing, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's been since 1991 when that movie came out.
Yeah. It's not supposed to be a contact sport.
Yeah, exactly. And
So did Ron? Did he get that position in that concert?
yes, he
Okay.
did.
Oh,
Yes, he did.
gotcha.
Yeah, because I think I ended up backwards in that corner.
Oh.
And, yeah, but
Did you ever have any further issues with that 35 car?
we've touched a time or two, but
Because 35 backwards is 53.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And the numbers have nothing to do with each other.
Well, maybe you thought if you turned them around, it would be
could
like
both be-
35 then.
Yeah, maybe.
I try and drive everybody clean, but if someone runs into me, I will run back into you. So, and I think every racer has that mentality. I'm sure Ron.
I'll race you the way you race me.
right, and I'm sure Ron is felt the same way about
Well,
me a time or two.
and if you let somebody push you around, Hillard,
They're going to keep doing it.
They'll think that you like it, and
Yeah.
then you're fair game.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes you got to make that statement.
yeah.
All right, then. You guys are still friends, right?
Absolutely. Darn near brothers.
Yep, darn near.
Almost, yeah. So what are your plans for this year and beyond? What's on tap?
Just whatever comes up. I run the late model a little bit, as long as I can keep them. I told everybody that when this motor dies, I'm done. But it died, last year, and we fixed it. So
So it didn't officially die.
it didn't officially die. It was just wounded.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the threshold for it being dead?
Probably when the rods come out the side of the block, that will probably be the end of it.
Just
If
get
they
a new
come out
block.
if they come out the pan, it's okay, but the block is pretty much fatal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha. So you're going to be running the late model. Any series you're going to follow this year? What tracks you plan on hitting?
We'll probably run some ALMS stuff, maybe at Oakshade and stuff. Ethanol, I like that ethanol series if some's close or whatever, and just hit and miss. And then
No plans of doing the Illinois stuff, either with ALMS or ethanol?
I think, aren't they both going to the same place?
I think.
They are. So if you're going to follow one, you're going to follow the other.
Yeah.
But I've been kicking around about going to LaSalle. I've never been there.
Nor have I.
Yeah. So we ought to.
Rusty says it's a great place.
Yeah. Yeah. Brad Eichenauer went there last year, ran his crate motor there, and actually made the show. Good deal.
Brad was pretty amazing in that car.
Yeah, that car worked good for him. Yeah, kid smart.
He really is.
Yep. His father and I were teammates back when I first started late models, and that kid, he's sharp.
He won. Didn't he get the modified win at Oakshade?
Yes, he did.
At the end of this past season. Yeah. Speaking of which, are you any plans to run a modified this year?
I hope to get in one once or twice. We'll see what Brad Johnson has planned. We want to do some little bit of research on that car that he's got, and actually that car that Brad won at Oakshade, Brad and Bill Hill and myself built that car. It started out to be my ride, and Lincoln changed plans and put Brad in it. So, but no, that was put together by Brad Johnson, Bill Hill, and myself. And,
What did it start as?
it's a Ruhlman rocket.
Okay.
Ruhlman car, yeah, and stuff. But good piece, real good piece.
So if a ride comes available for the sprint show at Oakshade, you'd be down for that?
I would try that, yeah.
Well, Barb? I didn't see her shaking her head. So.
Do you know any sprint car drivers that have a car that might let you?
No.
Have you ever driven a sprint before?
No, never have. Mini sprint. I've drove a couple mini sprints, but that's about it.
So if the opportunity presented itself to you, you'd jump at it.
I'd try it. Okay. Yeah. Not saying I'd be any good at it, but I'd try it. Hell, Ruhlman's got 2 now, so
yeah.
You know.
At
He
least.
seems to like it.
Yeah.
And Rusty wants to give it a try now.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
I don't know. Maybe that's what we should do. We should have all late model guys in a sprint race and all sprint guys in late models. Just have a night where you
That'd work.
just swap classes.
That
A
would
non-points night. I don't know where. Someplace that runs late models and modifieds.
Someplace that don't have walls.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You have to find a field.
Yeah.
Chad Wilson, are you listening to this?
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming in.
Well, I thank you guys having me. I'm trying to. I don't even notice my shirt. I'm trying to get you some new viewers. These are friends of ours that Barb and I that are from Nebraska, and they have a construction company. And this is the person I actually bought my Chrysler motor off from.
In your first car?
In the late
one that's
Oh,
in
the
it
one
now?
that's you got.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Chrysler motor. We've got a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's a Stanton built all aluminum.
Okay.
And I took it back. I bought it, and then like a year later, I took it back to Stanton, had it rebuilt. And he thinks that motor originally was built for Jack Hewitt in one of his sprint cars.
Really?
That's how old that motor is. So
Tough to kill.
yes, yeah, but it's
So you've got a lot of years left before that.
So yeah, you're not going to be done anytime soon.
yeah,
then.
maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, but
How long
Very good.
You've always run Chrysler motors, or
no, when did we get that? 5 years ago?
Maybe.
4 or 5 years ago. I just always wanted one before I retired. Was a Chrysler, all aluminum Chrysler motor, and I finally found one, and got it, and it's my toy.
okay?
You know, but it's 430 cubic inches.
So it gets the job done.
Fair,
Fair.
yeah. Around small tracks, but
There's a few of those around.
But I got a couple guys helping me a little bit this year. Brad always helps me. Brad Johnson,
Right.
Extreme Machine. And then Jeff Knowlton from World Class Collision. He's helping me out a little bit this year.
Yeah, you've rolled his car over.
Yeah,
once.
we've had it upside down once. Yeah. You didn't have to bring that back up. But,
It was
you know.
one of the nights at BCSN, the Buckeye Cable Sports Network, was out at Oakshade, I think, that night.
We need to contact them too.
He rolled that over, and that was a heat race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like the start of
Yeah,
the heat race.
It
I
was,
think.
yeah. Everybody messed up in front of us, and I got crossed up, and Rusty Slink shoveled me up and just kind of threw me off to the side. Yeah.
Did you get that car back together for the feature? Or were you done for that night?
We were done for the night. Yeah. The car has been fixed, though, but I don't think it's ever been put back together. And,
Okay. How many times have you been upside down?
really not that many.
Brian.
Yeah. Brian, Oakshade. That's it. I think 2 or 3 times.
All right, that's probably enough.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Over 42 years, though. I mean, that's not too bad.
No. Pretty good record.
Yeah. Well, speaking of records, other than Rusty's bad luck, but that was his fault when he was down in Florida.
Right.
People seem to have pretty good luck after coming on the show in their next race.
I hope that's right.
So I'm assuming April's probably your next race then?
When's that March? LaSalle, I think, ain't it?
Is that?
I think so.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, March. Yeah, so
March is tomorrow, by the way.
okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Coming up soon.
Yeah.
Speaking of other things coming up, actually this weekend at Sandusky County Fairgrounds, the Vince Fisher Memorial Sprint Car Show with dirt trucks. That's going to be going on from 1 to 8. There's also going to be a swap meet out there.
Just a show and tell. It's not a race.
Correct. Yeah, it's just a show. Yeah, not
Right.
no racing. Yes, and a swap meet going on. 30th annual Woodland Mall race cars on display. That's happening. Are you going to bring your car to that? Show off your car if you only got a little scratch. Bring it out to the mall and
Wash
BG.
it. We'd love to have it there.
Yeah.
When's that?
It's a couple weekends from this weekend.
Yep. Move in is on a
14th. Thursday the 14th.
Right. Right after the mall closes. Probably be there about 8 o'clock. They want you to sign a paper or something.
Oh, yeah?
But it's a good time. It really is. Get to connect with a lot of fans, put kids in the car, and that's always a great time.
Right.
And we're going to be out there on that Friday night talking to drivers, too. So you can be on the show again. We're going to have a special show that night.
Cool. I might. I usually have my stuff's all tore apart by that time, and
Really like to see your car there.
We'll have Dave Kemmer on the show next week from the Woodland Mall. Not the Woodland Mall, but the Race Cars on Display show to talk about that 30th annual. And also the Hoserville auction going on Saturday for the injured drivers. So,
Big benefit auction.
Talk more about that as well. Opening night at Attica Raceway Parks coming up on Friday, March 22nd. It's Construction Equipment and Supply Advanced Drainage Systems Night. There's a rain date. If they don't get it in on Friday, they'll try Saturday, March 23rd. They're going to have the 410 Sprints, UMP late models, and 305 Sprints. Do you race at Attica?
Yeah, I like that.
You like that trick? Okay. Any wins out there?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Waynesfield Raceway Park season opener has been moved. It was originally going to be that same weekend as the Woodland Mall Race Cars on Display, but they've moved it back to Saturday, April 7th. NRA Sprint Invaders and or fast winged 410 Sprints. More details on that coming. Fremont Speedway, their openers April 13th. They're going to have 410s, 305s. It's going to be an Attica Fremont Champion Series event. Also the dirt trucks. That's Union Trades Community Night. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission tickets, $15 for that. Sandusky Speedway, they kick off things with their All Jacked Up weekend, Saturday, April 13th, and Sunday, April 14th, featuring Lake Erie Stock Series on Saturday and a 200-lap Enduro on Sunday. Toledo Speedway kicks things off with the Ross Mortgage Spring 200 presented by PNC Bank. That's Saturday, April 20th, featuring the ARCA Late Model Gold Cup Series going 100 laps and the ARCA CRA Super Series also going 100 laps. And we'll have Scott Schultz on from General Manager of Toledo Speedway and Flat Rock in a few weeks to talk about that. Oak Jake kicks off their season with the Bill Reckner Memorial Saturday, April 27th, featuring Sportsman Bombers Compacts. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. Eldora kicks off their 66th season on Saturday, April 27th. That's that American Late Model Series, $5,000 to win. Also, NRA Sprint Invaders, Dirt Car, UMP Modifieds, and Eldora Stocks. General admission, $19 for that. Reserve tickets are $24. Flat Rock Speedway then kicks off the following day. That's Sunday, April 28th, with the CRA JEG Series late models going 100 laps. Also, I think it's the debut of the CRA Junior late models going 25 laps, and the iCar All-Star Modified 75 laps for them. Racing will start at 2 o'clock. Again, that's a Sunday afternoon. And then finally, the last track to get things going around here, Lima Land Motorsports Park with their season opening shootout Friday, May 3rd, featuring the NRA Sprint Invaders Modifieds and Street Stocks. Pits open at 4:30, grandstands 5, racing 7:30. That's it.
That's all?
That's all I got.
Wow.
So again, next week on the show, thanks Hillard for coming in. It was great talking to you. And
thanks
Barbara,
for having
it was
me.
nice to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Love the rear view mirror
Yeah,
story.
that was cool. I figured everybody get a kick out of that one.
Next week, Dave Kemmer is going to be on again to talk about the race cars on display at the Woodland Mall show. 2 weeks from tonight, Scott Schultz will be on. That's all I got in the books for now. Right now.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, don't forget to give Ron Miller Race Cars a call. 734-856-RACE. Look, I didn't have to look. I got it memorized now. 856-RACE. Advice, he gives that away for free. Sometimes if you ask him nicely. He'll tell you how he did bowling, too, on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
How'd you do, by the way?
Didn't.
Oh, what?
Still dealing with that blown out knee.
Oh, you should be more careful working in the snow. Give him a call, 734-856-RACE. He's got parts, service,
Lots of them.
everything. Yeah, you can order parts. Did you get my parts yet?
Which one, Scott?
I don't know, that list I sent you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got some oil there and a filter
yeah.
and an oil pan that's been repaired. And
Wow. Shouldn't that be getting on the engine?
still got to work on that clutch. I don't know. I think you need to buy a winch. I think a winch is going to be cheaper than buying clutches. Because you load your car with the clutch.
I have a winch.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Do you use it?
when I have to. Maybe I'll start. Make sure to visit hammerdownracerreport.com. Information on being a sponsor and also how you can listen to the show, which, of course, is available not only on our Facebook Live, but iHeartRadio, Google Play, iTunes, and YouTube. Yeah. And you can rewatch it on Facebook as well. So all kinds of ways to do that. You can
How
also,
long after the show do you usually download it?
the audio gets uploaded as soon as we're done. See, that's right up there.
Yep.
That is recording the audio. I save that to network drive. I run upstairs and I upload it to our podcast deal. And at the same time, I download the video from Facebook. And then, but that takes a while, so I don't upload that till tomorrow morning.
Okay. So if they want to see our beautiful faces, they got to wait till tomorrow if they missed us live.
Yeah. Or they could just watch it on, because it'll still be on Facebook.
Right. I watched
Just won't
you
be-
guys last week, just a little bit after it was over with.
Just not live. So that's it. Again, we're going to leave now.
We'll be back next
Show
week.
is over.
We back next week with 73.
Oh, yeah. Show number 73.
That's it.
Thanks, Hillard, for coming in.
Thanks to all the fans for checking in.
All right.
All right. Thanks for having me.
7 o'clock next week. Tune in.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.